Good morning, Suzanne.
Good morning, Deborah Leanne. Cheers.
Cheers. And this is, first of all, it's momentous because we're together, we're always together, but we're actually together in physical space right now.
Right.
And today's topic for our morning musings?
Gene Key 17.
Oh, yeah. So Gene Key 17 is fascinating, and it's one that I don't even imagine that I know that much about, even though it's featured primarily. It's in a prominent spot in my profile, but it's something that still feels very mysterious to me. So let's just see where we'll go.
Yeah. And this is the Gene Keys written by Richard Rudd. And Deborah and I have been exploring this for the past almost year. And this is the 17th, which has 3 different states of consciousness.
Yeah, each gene key has a human fear-based shadow, we call it.
Then out of the shadow is birthed the gift of the state it's in. And today,
then there's a spiritual level of consciousness. So
essence.
They're all just different levels of consciousness, and they're all the same, just it comes out a little differently.
Right. So the 17th is all about moving from the shadow state of opinion out of opinion, bursts the gift of
farsightedness, which is very different from opinion, which is kind of one way, my way or the highway.
Right. And then the Siddhic state, or the divine essence of it, is omniscience,
which feels like a divine state that we all, very often associate with gods or God, in terms of being able to see all. And yet we also have that gift, and we don't, I think, allow ourselves to play enough in that imagination of having that gift, of being that divine, to be able to allow that to come through us, that knowing, that being, that seeing. So as is all the Siddhic states.
Well, this one is called the I.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's connected to the physiology of your pituitary gland.
Yeah. So this is a fun one. And over our coffee and water this morning, we are going to play with, what does it feel like? How does this show up in our lives? And hopefully prompt some space for you to deepen into your omniscience, your farsightedness. So let's talk about, this is so funny because we had just last week talked about the constriction that keeps us from universal love. And this opinion is such a human thing. I look at the news now. Do you remember when news used to be, it was like they would present supposedly facts. And now we watch the news and it's got so much emotion in it. It's got so much opinion. You can tell what direction the journalist leans by how they're relating the news. And it's kind of made a lot of people not trust media. And how do we what do we believe basis what we're being told? So we're it's easier for us to see it in others than to realize, oh, that's really just my opinion.
Right. And it's really fascinating when you really look at it in your own life, that the shadow of this opinion comes down the closing of your third eye, because you're then stating everything that you are sensing is all true. It's like your opinion is the only opinion that matters.
Right. And very often we grow up in families or in communities where what we are fed in terms of the ideology, the religion, the dogma, the belief systems of our surrounding caregivers and family is what we adopt as truth.
And this key I'm kind of understand a lot about, because it's connected. The programming partner to it is the 18th, which is all about judgment. So opinion and judgment. It kind of closes everything off
Yeah.
to all possibilities, because it's like, this is the way, right?
Yeah, I think of, how we have stereotypes, based on what I grew up with and who my parents would stereotype about that other type of person. I mean, it's insane, really, until I grew out of that and went, there's got to be another way to look at that.
Well, and I think in the nowness of this, we're all rewiring ourselves.
Well, and we're feeling into what feels true too, right?
Exactly.
That's not my truth.
Yeah.
So
what's the healthiest expression of us?
Mm-hmm.
Are we being dictated by our programming of when we were in our developmental stages and from our ancestry, or are we being true to who we are as our sovereign being? So there's a lot of material in between there. And so can I talk a little bit about the repressive nature of this?
Yeah, let's do, because it's very much about and I want to talk about the repressive and the reactive, but the one thing the question I have for you is to ask yourself, is this the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Is this my truth? Is it someone else's truth? Is it the capital T truth? I mean, really feel into what, because you'll know, your body knows, your soul knows, your heart knows. So we're going to play with that. Okay, go.
So the repressive nature, as an opinion, is this self-criticism. So if you find yourself in a state of undermining who you are and the beauty of who you are, really watch out for that. That's it happens to us all the time. Like, we cut our legs off underneath us, and that's not honoring who we are and what we're here to do. So a lot of the times you'll see it expressed as a person who has no backbone. They're
wishy-washy too.
Yeah.
They can be swayed based on what they're fed media-wise, or someone says this is the way to vote, and they're like, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right. They just kind of comply.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of opinionated, or the opposite of that, is the reactive nature, which is opinionated. They're the ones that are, this is the way to be
this
doing
is the only
things.
way.
Yes.
And everybody else is wrong, because you got to do it this way because that's the truth.
Right.
That's the right
and there's
way.
a lot of anger that's built up in this key, which is like, if you don't see it my way,
I'll get my gun out and we'll fight about it.
Just a lot of anger. And so
you can see where there's not room to allow somebody else to have a different view.
Right.
Because there's a right and a wrong.
Right. So they use a lot of logic to uphold their opinions, as opposed to listening to your inner wisdom.
I love that, because you can always find statistics to support your view of the world. Depends on who wrote those statistics.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I remember Jesse talking about this. Jesse Elder, one of my mentors, he was talking about the fact that this is not our operating system, you guys. The brain is not. The logic part is a tool. It is our CPU, right? But our operating system is divine, and so this is the balance between both. And I think that's where we come into the gift of it.
And that's why we like to get new computers, is because they don't have any history. I mean, think about it. So, and that's what this is it operates as a computer, so it doesn't think in the future for you. I mean, soon they will, because we'll have more AI, but it only has a history of everything that you've done on the computer. So if I think about it that way, I'm like, oh, of course I don't want to use this for strategic thinking, or planning, or dreaming into the future. Yeah, try to dream with your computer.
Right. So let's then, from that space, play in the farsightedness and what that feels like in your system.
Oh my God. Well, yeah. Feel what opinion feels like. I mean, immediately it makes my stomach go.
That's very. It feels kind of constrictive.
Yeah, which is why it goes.
It
along
falls.
with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard calls this the I don't know how you pronounce this.
Precognition?
Yeah, via the heart. So it's the knowing of the heart space, right? It's the seeing with the heart.
Yeah, this might be a good time to do the mudra. But anyway,
Yeah.
so playing with, again, it's like, what else is possible? And if we truly believe that anything is possible, it totally opens things into a different space. So that's where farsightedness, it's taking the blinders off of this is the only way to be, this is the right way to act, this is the right way to vote, this is the right way to handle this problem, versus to, like, if you have a problem and you're trying to solve it and you can only see this isn't working and this isn't working, there's got to be other ways, right? So you kind of get up, go for a walk, listen to some music, talk to a friend, and things open up. And that's where farsightedness is allowed. I mean, it opens to what else is possible.
Yeah.
Solutions and feelings.
And the gift really comes out when we can remain open and skeptic of one specific viewpoint, even your own. Like challenge it. So this week, maybe challenge, can you look at the opinions that you hold and kind of play in that space? Let's just play there. I mean, it's not, don't take it too seriously, but just...
Yeah, but is that really true?
Have
is that true?
Yeah, about some of your opinions that, or maybe belief systems that you grew up with, that it's like, oh, I have seen it like that through that lens. But is that the capital T truth? So this is really moving into the causal body, and your insights that you get are wider than your opinions. They're literally when you open up to a world beyond your eyeballs, and you are tuning into your inner knowing.
This is why the work that you do in the sacred play area is so important, because it allows us to get out of our logical brain. I'm pointing to the left here, and over into the right side, inspirational, life is beautiful, that big expansive side of our creative solving, problem solving brain. That is a whole different animal.
Yeah. Because
then you can look at things from, like, it's not black or white. It's not this or that. It's both and, what a different way to look at the world. So it kind of allows us to play in the other side of our hemisphere, or if you want to include like our heart as a knowing organ in our system, and our belly as a knowing organ.
I think it's emerging, much like we were talking about the balancing of the hemispheres. It's also emerging of our third eye and our solar plexus, like who we came here to be. And so it's merging all of it, including that balance of the intuition and the intelligence.
Yeah.
And
the third way.
Yeah. So it's coming out in through the heart, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times we developed a lot of our opinions when we were in our younger stages, our teenage stages, between the ages of 14 and 21. So kind of think about how life was in that period of time, and maybe some of those things that you kind of grasped onto then, are they really still true?
Well, there's the peer pressure too, right? Your peers came to you and go, hey, let's smoke this cigarette, or whatever, drugs, be a drink. So I mean, this is funny to me, because the fact that it comes out during that teenage time, and then we just continue to carry that forward. And don't ever go back and go, well, wait a minute, I was 12 when I made that decision. Maybe there's other things to look at here.
Maybe I can open my thought to the possibilities of new ways of looking at the world.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so anyway, and you would think decades. I think it's our birthdays, a new decade, a new year. Every time we cross another threshold, it's kind of a good time to check in and go, who am I now? Do I have to hang on to that stuff? Nah.
Right. Yeah.
Equinox is good for that.
I think so. Yeah. We're going to be talking about that and what we want to release.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we're moving into omniscience. That is such a big word. Can
I
you share?
love it.
Yeah, share with me your vision of what omniscience is.
So to me, and we were kind of talking about this yesterday, or at least we were all around the dinner table talking about it. So to me, it's like as we mature and grow from, as a tree, if you want to look at it that way, we have the roots, which are our shadows, where we came from. The trunk is who we are becoming. The branches are how we give back to the world in our fruiting, in our shade, whatever it is that we're here to serve. But if you're a bird flying above the tree, you can see all of that. You can see not just that tree, you can see whole bunches of things, fields and water and mountains, and there's something that's expansive and that is way more than just like if you're in the tree and you're looking up through the branches, that's all you see. You don't see the whole sky. You don't see. So it's this broader, deeper, wider, expansive way. And when we are in that space, we're in the collective intelligence. We're in the divine design of the world. And we're able to tap into knowing that's more than our little body could do by ourselves. So to me, it's that omniscience, like it's all seeing, yes, but it's also opening to being in that interconnected intelligence that we are a part of. Does that make sense?
I'm just going to read this. The city of omniscience can flower only after the full opening of the heart, and the heart opening phase destroys all vestiges of self along the way. And so all other aspects of the mind are transmuted into higher frequencies, with the exception of this single eye, which is the mind's eye. And just think of this. When we can be in that state of divine effervescence with that open heart, then we can design from there. And that is the all-knowing. I mean,
it's like being the channel, right?
It is being the channel. It is the channel. So for instance, when you are opening that third eye and you are being omniscient, you're all seeing. You can see the whole picture, much like the
past, present, future.
Right. Much like if you're dancing in another sphere and people are oracle, they might be deaf until they can open up their hearing,
their knowing.
So this is opening up your eye so that you can really truly create your life from that space, as opposed from this human what's the key of it, the
opinionated,
right, space, which is very dense and very
so if you think about it, this is something that our indigenous brothers and sisters have known for millennia, and that is that we tend to, in our capitalistic society, we tend to think about what's good for me right now. And there's something about that opening that allows us to go, what's good for 7 generations down the road? When I make a decision today, it's affecting that far out. And we need to have that broader, wider, deeper sense of knowing of the interconnectedness. I think that's, and I love that it's also seeing through your heart. It's not seeing through these.
You're through your logic, through your brain, because then can you feel the difference of moving from opinionated, which is steady in your logic, to the open-heartedness of seeing all and then making choices about your life from that space.
So to me, that's why it's interesting, because that's why very often we close our eyes to meditate, because A, we can focus on the internal landscape, but B, it allows us to be tapping into an imaginative consciousness, or what we imagine consciousness and interconnectedness is. So when we open our eyes, it's like, oh, well, there's the trees and there's the window, there's the lamp. So it's very, there's limits, right? The human limits. And we get to be both.
Right.
We get to play in the, how did they word that about the no, it's in the very end of the Siddhic state. Something about there's both a preordained future and there's the choice of how I'm living today is going to affect my future. And both are true. Because very often when you get to a fully experienced Siddhic state, then you can become a seer.
Yeah.
Right? You can become a future, somebody that sees everything in the future. And this is where we get to play with how much of it is preordained and how much of it are we creating it right now.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah. Both.
So
yeah. So this is the archetype from the I Ching, and it's called the following. So Richard says everything that happens follows the plan, and the plan is perfect.
Yeah.
Everything that's going on. So don't get wigged out if it's not going your way. Everything is unfolding perfectly. And then the plan...
And there are no wrong choices. Right. I love this. Like, I want to make the right decision. I want to make the... Guess what? There isn't a wrong decision.
No.
Whatever you do is perfect.
Exactly.
Which we were laughing about last night, too.
Yes. And the plan is both predetermined and it's also created as we walk the path. So just think of co-creating your space. And wouldn't you rather stay open-hearted and think, I mean, sometimes I get nervous because it's like, how good can it get? Like, that kind of scares me a little bit because I have no idea what that might look like. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's when you're co-creating with spirit and with others on another level. And you have no idea what it looks like because it's never been done before.
That's the power of collective genius. We unlock each other's genius. And there are times where we get in our own mindset and we can't see beyond, but then we're with another person and it's like, oh, I had never looked at it that way before. And what a beautiful thing. I've never felt that way before. I've now seen the world in a different way thanks to you. And when we allow ourselves that space to grow into new, you always word it so beautifully, like, let's be curious. Yeah. Where else can we go? What can we discover today?
Yeah. Staying open and inquisitive. Yeah. Opening that heart. So do you want to play with the mudra today?
Yeah, let me get some water because I have a bit of... Okay, so the mudra is so fantastic. And what I love about this is I remember learning this years ago, totally forgot it, so I had to look it up again today. But it's taking your hands and you cross your pinkies, you leave your thumbs up and your index up, but your two middle fingers go down.
Do you keep your pinkies up? You keep your pinkies up.
It's your pinkies that go up. And your index
finger.
Okay, so there's 3 points, which is interesting because there's 3 points of our wisdom. And what you can do with this space is you can just hold it and breathe into it. And notice that the 3 spaces are all connecting to different parts, right? And then you can also take it and apply it like on our belly. So if you put it up next to our belly, you can turn it down and point it in if you want, or you can just have your hands folded into it.
It's like a
breath. But breathing
there.
In, yeah, and saying the belly is all seeing. And I trust my belly to see. And then we can take it and point it into our heart space. So taking our thumbs or our forefingers, but touching into the heart space and taking a few breaths here, because the heart is all seeing. And then as we head up to the third eye, Suzanne's favorite, we touch it's almost like you're putting a mask on over your face. So this is in between your eyes. The thumbs are touching your face somewhere. So you're kind of like putting this on and you're breathing in here. Because this is the space the third eye sees all.
Enjoy that for this week.
Till our next time.
Love you.